In this video, I want to talk about Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, and his latest grandstanding of moral superiority. I want to talk about the United Nations Migrant Compact, and I want to talk about how these bureaucratic toilet sponges across the world want to make it illegal. They actually want to fine people or put people in jail if they criticize migration. I'm going to give you the big picture and connect these Orwellian abominations so you can have a better idea of what these rotten, sadistic shitbags are really up to. So Tim Cook. Look, I have no problem with making money or how rich Tim Cook is, but it's important to consider because in financial terms, Cook might as well be from another planet.
The world's smartest man poses no more threat to me than does its smartest termite.
But before we get into it, just think about it. When you're playing the game of business on such a high level like Apple does, it's an absolute certainty that there's going to be some foul play involved. Outsourcing, manufacturing, tax loopholes, unethical means of acquiring raw materials, things like that. So Cook gets up there on his pedestal behind his podium and says, "Hate has no home on Apple platforms, white supremacy." This is like Dan Bilzerian saying there should be a ban on two-piece bikinis. Tim Cook is presenting himself as the arbiter of morality and ethics when he and his company have done horrendously immoral and unethical things. They underpay their workers, they employ virtual slaves, their workers were jumping off the roof of the fucking factory because their lives were such shit working for him, and their brilliant idea to stop this human suffering was to build trapeze nets. If I had an Apple, I would have pawned it off as soon as I saw those suicide nets built around the factory. Let's not make working conditions better. Let's not make our people happier by paying them more. Let's not use slaves and serfs to mine rare earth minerals for our products. Let's just build nets so these fuckers don't make a mess when they hit the sidewalk. Look, this has nothing to do with hate or morality. Cook is trying to secure Apple's position. They don't like competition. They don't like the small company that shows promise to one day maybe unseat Apple as the king of tech. And who defines hate speech? Who determines who gets deplatformed? I'll tell you who. Anyone who has an opinion that goes against their agenda. Cook says their mission is to rid the platform of hate, just like the Patriot Act is about security and not giving up our right to privacy. Anytime they want to legislate something that takes a little more of our freedoms away, they name it like the fluffy puppy bill. And if you're against it, they say, "What? Do you have something against fluffy puppies?" It's a straw man argument for a straw man bill. And the left has this love for him for saying all this stuff. Listen, they actually cheer for his comment.
That's why we only have one message for those who seek to push hate, division, and violence. You have no place on our platforms.
It kind of reminds me of this scene from Star Wars.
The Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire for a safe and secure society.
So this is how liberty dies, with thunderous applause.
They are cheering for what is actually fascist behavior. Shutting down speech that you disagree with or find offensive is absolutely un-American. There are already laws against speech that promotes violence and threats and shit like that already. But if you snowflakes actually want to live in a free society, then you need to grow some thicker skin, because their goal is to use the term hate to extinguish free speech, and by doing so, suppress and eliminate the free flow of information. They are out to achieve world government, and they can't do it in a society that can spread the word about what they're up to. And all you morons who cheer for this because of the way it makes you feel so virtuous to be behind the rich and powerful Tim Cook who wants to virtue signal that his platforms are a hate-free zone. You are the useful idiots. You are the extinguisher these global elites will use to put out the fires of freedom. You call yourself liberals, You're the people who are supposed to stand up against this corporatocracy, whatever you guys want to call it. You're the people who are supposed to be against this type of stuff. And here you are cheering for it. Why? Because you hate Donald Trump so much? Because you think Donald Trump is an actual white supremacist? You're going to cheer for Tim Cook when he gets up there and says white supremacy has no home on our platforms? Are you that stupid? Continuing my point, we have the UN Migrant Compact. I'll leave some links in the description to where you could find some more detailed information about it. But this document is something that everybody should be afraid of. This thing is out of control. Absolutely insane. What the UN is pushing here with this document is 100% ludicrous. And it reveals exactly what these people are up to and what their agenda really is. If anyone's paying attention, this is the one thing you need to see to know what they're really up to. This one document says it all. But in general, the United Nations proposed this bill to make it legal for anyone to go anywhere. An unelected group of global shitbags want to completely dissolve national borders with the stroke of a pen. This is real life. I don't know if anyone told them, but in America, the people run shit. Who do these people think they are to tell virtually every nation in the world that they no longer have borders? Can you see their agenda yet? One world government. New World Order? The EU wants an army so they can force countries to stay in the EU. Why has the UK not left yet? The people voted for Brexit in a democratic election. They want world government. One ring to rule them all. But wait, it gets even worse. Listen to this clip.
This is a group of international bureaucrats over in Europe talking about the next stage of where their evolution for their hate speech agenda, what they intend to classify as hate speech. Listen to this nonsense.
One basic element of this new agreement is the extension of the definition of hate speech. The agreement wants to criminalize migration speech. Criticism of migration will become a criminal offense. Criticism of migration will become a criminal offense. Will become a criminal offense. And media outlets, and that also concerns you, that give room to criticism of migration can be shut down.
Folks, we live in an Orwellian society right now.
They want to make it illegal to criticize migration. So if you bring statistics, facts, and educated analysis to the table when discussing migration, you will be fined or thrown in jail. Why are these bureaucratic assholes and tech elites all pushing the same agenda? Censorship, migration of third world nations into first world nations. Because it's extremely difficult to take over a first world nation. The people have higher IQs, stronger militaries, and stronger police forces. And for the time being, some have the right to bear arms. But if we can silence them, if we can control the propaganda, if we can replace the population demographically, if we can even get a large percentage of them to go along with us, then we can do it. The time is now, people. You'd better get your head out of your asses and decide what side you're on. Like Martin Luther King said, you begin to die when you stop speaking out about what's right. And ask yourself this, ask yourself why this isn't getting the news coverage that it should be getting. Something so big, so important for all the nations in the world. Why is it getting no news coverage? Well, it's probably because they don't want you to know.